Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. On the city walls of Liang Province City, Si Wuya stood by Jiang Aijian's side. Jiang Aijian stood with slouching shoulders, making him look lazy. Your thinking of driving a wedge between them was brilliant. Grand Shaman Bazir has died. Have your men ever sent you false information? After all, the hearts of men are easily swayed. There can't be false information. Did I tell you that I have only one source? Si Wuya asked. Jiang Aijian gave him a thumbs up. Si Wuya had experienced many similar setbacks when he established Darknet many years ago. Naturally, he had devised his own countermeasures. With this, he was very confident in the precision of his information. However, Bazir's death was slightly too sudden. No signs of him were left on the site. My men don't have the ability to observe the past like the shamans, Si Wuya said. What are you worried about? First, I'm worried that my second senior brother might be in trouble. At the same time, I don't think there are many in this world who can harm my second senior brother. Second, the longer this drags on, we'll be at a disadvantage. Rulians worship the Wolf King. Severing the lotus is beneficial to them, Si Wuya said. We'll deal with them when they come. There's no need to fear them. As soon as Jiang Aijian finished speaking, a soldier shouted from the top of the city walls. A flying chariot is approaching. Si Wuya turned around to look at the flying chariot. When he turned back, Jiang Aijian had already disappeared. Jiang Aijian had already leaped off the city wall and vanished into the crowd below. Si Wuya shook his head helplessly. He had witnessed Jiang Aijian's skills firsthand during the time they spent together. He knew Jiang Aijian was someone who would try to avoid involving himself in matters that did not concern him. When Si Wuya saw the long tail behind the flying chariot, he knew it was the evil Sky Pavilion's sky-splitting chariot. Therefore, he ordered, "Welcome the flying chariot." When the cloud-splitting chariot reached Liang Province City, the cultivators and civilians in the city looked up. In the general's mansion, many cultivators took flight and formed a square formation in the air as they waited for the flying chariot to approach. Some with keener eyesight recognized the cloud-splitting chariot right away. They exclaimed in surprise. Wonderful! It's the evil Sky Pavilion's cloud-splitting chariot. With the evil Sky Pavilion looking after things in Liang Province, there's nothing to worry about. The civilians leaped in joy. In the past, nobody would imagine that the civilians would welcome the force from the fiend path. People knew now there were righteous people on the fiend path as well. As Zhenghai's helper, Si Wuya knew what kind of sect Zhenghai wanted to build. He had been instructing his members to keep the people close to their hearts. It was easy to conquer the country but difficult to defend it. Since they took over the divine capital, the Nether Sect had decided that it would no longer be the Nether Sect of the past. Inside the general's mansion, Zhou took a seat as soon as he entered the general's mansion. He waved his hand dismissively when he saw the others were about to salute him. No need. Si Wuya asked, Master, I thought you were planning to look after things in the divine capital. What brings you to Liang Province? In his opinion, there would not be a problem with him looking after Liang Province. Moreover, the Penglai sect, the Blossom faction, the 10,000 Poison sect, the Fiend Temple, and other forces were stationed here as well. Zhou looked at Si Wuya and said, I've read your letters. What's the current situation in Liang Province? Si Wuya explained Liang Province's circumstances to his master. Under his arrangements, Liang Province was making measured advances while maintaining a firm defense. He was exceptionally skilled at keeping spies out. Using his talent in research, he had assigned a unique number to everyone in Liang Province. When Zhou heard this, he was reminded about personal identification numbers in the modern world. This disciple of mine can actually be compared to the Lua woman. After listening to his explanations, Zhou nodded. Everything was stable. Carol had no opening to exploit. Zhou continued with another question. Do your sources in Lulan know where Zhenghai and Zhenghai are? Si Wuya shook his head. I've sent my men to search for them over the past few days. I've lost many of them in the process. For now, I haven't got any clue. Pan Lydian said, I've crossed Heaven's Moat before. On the northern side of the mountains, there's a 100,000-foot deep abyss about 5 miles to the west. Did you send your men there? Si Wuya nodded. The abyss is in the territory of the Rillians. My men can't investigate there easily, but I've sent some of them there. They're heading north, skirting around Heaven's Moat, to investigate it. When Zhou heard this, he ordered, do all you can to search for Zhenghai and Zhenghai. Yes, master. Understood. With that, the evil sky pavilion continued searching for Zhenghai and Zhenghai. They started their search from Great Yan toward the eastern side of Heaven's Moat. They sent cultivators to sneak behind the Rillians. Then, they sent more cultivators to skirt around Heaven's Moat due north and investigate things there. Time passed by in the blink of an eye. Before they knew it, a month had passed. Throughout this month, the evil sky pavilion used various methods and even employed various agents to infiltrate the enemy's campground. They had also sent cultivators to infiltrate Lulan's ancient city and Roli's royal capital. They wanted to find information about Zhenghai and Zhenghai's whereabouts. Unfortunately, their efforts were in vain. Inside the general's mansion, Si Wuya and the other disciples lowered their heads. They dared not speak. Zhou stroked his beard as he studied them. Throughout the past month, Pan Lydian, Lang Luo, Duanmu Sheng, Mingxirin, Little Yuan, Conk, the Penglai sect, the 10,000 Poison sect, the Blossom faction, the Fiend sect, and the other cultivators did not manage to locate Zhenghai and Zhenghai at all. They did not even see the duo's shadows. The investigation had hit a wall. After a long pause, Si Wuya was the first to break the silence. He said, Master, I have something to say. Let's hear it. We've searched the eastern and western sides of Heaven's Moat, and we found nothing. The allied army of Roli and Lulan is stationed to the east, but my agents reported that they didn't see eldest senior brother or second senior brother. The ancient city of Lulan and Roli's royal capital are too far away. It's not very convenient to transmit information over such distances. It's also not efficient to travel back and forth even if we're to send someone there. If something did happen to eldest senior brother and second senior brother, especially if they're being hidden, I'm afraid we won't be able to find them easily, Si Wuya said. This isn't like you. Zhou said. Was Si Wuya not very confident before? Si Wuya fell to one knee and said, I know I'm in the wrong, master. If I'd known, I'd have gone to fetch second senior brother myself. I'm willing to accept any punishment. Zhang said, Si Wuya can't be blamed for this, Senior Ji. The people of Lulan are skilled in witchcraft. His agents are low-rank cultivators. The information they can obtain is limited. That Carol is also a slippery one. My own agents had been exposed in less than 3 days. They had to flee for their lives. They could not summon their avatars, but it was difficult for a Great Yan cultivator not to summon their avatars if they were attacked. This was even more true if they had weak cultivation bases. Pan Lydian wondered out loud, could they have fallen into the abyss? The others looked at Pan Lydian at once. Si Wuya said, that's possible. However, that abyss seems bottomless. Those who fall in there will die. Even 8-leaf cultivators won't recklessly jump in. Moreover, it's in the territory of the Rillians. Our men can hardly get in. At this moment, Mingxirin said, Master, I don't think there's anything they can do to second senior brother and eldest senior brother. Go on. Zhou looked at Mingxirin, old fourth. Mingxirin said, you've all forgotten about Ji Liang. The others smiled, hopeful. Under normal circumstances, their enemies should have had a hard time catching up to them since they had Ji Liang. However, it was strange that they had not returned. Ji Liang understands our speech. If it comes back, we can surely ask it about what happened, Mingxirin said. Zhou nodded. Old Fourth never let him down. Then, Zhou tried to summon Ji Liang. He called out several times. However, there was no reply. Usually, a mount would acknowledge its master like how a weapon would acknowledge its owner. There would be a unique tie between mount and master. Zhou frowned slightly. He closed his eyes and moved his ears. He extended his power of hearing throughout Liang Province City. Power of speech. Ji Liang. Meanwhile, Ji Liang stopped halfway between Heaven's Moat and the quagmire. It hovered in midair. It had been diligently traveling back and forth between Heaven's Moat and the quagmire until it heard the call of its master. Nay. Ji Liang looked up. It no longer headed for the quagmire. Instead, it turned back to Heaven's Moat and sped toward Great Yen. Outside the forest west of Heaven's Moat, the Lulan border campground mourning the death of General Bazir. Many Lulan cultivators were attracted by Ji Liang's bright and crisp call. They looked up at the sky. Above the towering trees, Ji Liang's hoofs shone with light as it galloped in the sky. It's the Sword Devil's steed. Catch it. The witchcraft cultivators with keen sight recognized Ji Liang immediately. This was the very horse that led them on a wild goose chase. The death of the hero of the border, General Bazir, was connected to the master of this horse. For a time, many witchcraft cultivators gathered together. They had strength in numbers. There did not seem to be a high requirement for courage to face a single horse. Hundreds of witchcraft cultivators flew at full speed toward Heaven's Moat from the campground. At the same time, a large number of Rolians and Lulan nationals were stationed at the foothills on the eastern side of Heaven's Moat. The Lulan cultivators took flight and tried to surround Ji Liang. They rose higher at the same time. The witchcraft cultivators in the west formed a line that pushed forward while the witchcraft cultivators in the east formed a straight line as well. With this, Ji Liang would eventually run into the Lulan cultivators, no matter how fast it traveled. Nay. Ji Liang noticed the abnormality. It raised its hooves and stopped in midair. It saw the witchcraft cultivators blocking its way. Every cultivator held a purple orb in their hands. They were clad in purple hooded cloaks. Purple gas slowly flowed out of their palms. The purple spheres in their hands seemed to be connected by a purple chain. The witchcraft cultivators behind Ji Liang did the same. They had the horse in a pincer attack. It seemed that the beast had nowhere to run to now. Ji Liang was extremely intelligent. It made a swift judgment about its current situation and made a shocking move. It chose to rise higher in the sky. It looked up as it maintained its standing posture, hooves clopping away. It's no wonder Great Yan's Sword Devil managed to reach Roli from the heartlands of Lulan. What a rare and wonderful steed. We must capture it no matter what. If we can tame it, we can make it work for us. If we can't tame it, we'll just kill it. Roger. The shamans rose higher into the sky. 2 rows of cultivators followed Ji Liang in its ascent. 2 clouds of purple gas rose as well. They looked like purple sky curtains. It was a magnificent sight. Ji Liang was not flustered. It reached the highest point of Heaven's Moat with its legendary speed. This was not the southern part of Heaven's Moat. It seemed to know that it could not shake off the witchcraft cultivators at this altitude. Hence, it chose to climb further up. When it had reached the altitude it deemed suitable, the air thinned considerably and primal chi was scarce. It was stifling, constricting, and difficult to breathe. It stopped climbing up and flew straight ahead. We can't go any higher. Primal chi is too scarce here. If they went up further, they would not have access to primal chi. Without primal chi, cultivators were only slightly sturdier than mortals. It was the same for witchcraft cultivators. Ji Liang did not seem to be affected by this. It continued its flight. Shortly after, its trail drew an arc in the skies as it crossed over the barricade of witchcraft cultivators. Stop it. Attack. The row of witchcraft cultivators tossed their purple orbs out. A row of purple witchcraft circles was launched into the air. Ji Liang nimbly dodged and flew higher. Nay. The rare and precious horse had to control its altitude at this moment. Its eyes shone with a golden light as though they were burning. It advanced courageously. It only had one destination at this moment, Great Yen. Swoosh. Ji Liang crossed Heaven's Moat despite the witchcraft cultivator's effort to stop it. At its altitude, it was easy for Ji Liang to cross Heaven's Moat. Above Heaven's Moat, a snowstorm raged on. Roaring wind rang in Ji Liang's ears, and its vision was obscured by flecks of white snow. The Lulan shamans adjusted their positions and pursued the horse. After it. We can't let it get away. We must avenge Lord Bazir. Revenge. Their hatred soared. General Bazir was a grand shaman. In the eyes of Lulan's witchcraft cultivators, he was a hero akin to a god. The hundreds of cultivators gave chase in a square formation. They worked together well. They knew that Ji Liang was swift. Hence, they cast different spells that complemented each other. They advanced in a pointed formation. With their collective spells, their speed was on par with Ji Liang for a moment. Meanwhile, the Rulians looked at the sky from their campground. General Carroll was also intrigued by this huge commotion. He rose into the air and looked at the pursuing group of witchcraft cultivators in the distance. Shortly after, he sighed. Although I don't see eye to eye with Bazir and our tempers aren't the best fit for each other, I do respect and admire his character. The sheer number of people willing to avenge him is a testament to his charisma. I've lost to him in this sense. The moment he finished speaking, a subordinate beside him bowed and said, General, before Bazir died, he personally led a team that pushed the Sword Devil to the lands of Roli. His objective was to frame you for the Sword Devil's death to sow discord between Roli and the evil Sky Pavilion. Is that so? Carroll frowned. You may investigate this, General. He also said that Lulan doesn't need the subordinate stammered, unsure if he should finish his sentence. Just say it. I won't punish you. A piece of trash like you. He can kill you Shangrong on his own. Carroll's eyes narrowed when he heard these words. Flames of anger seemed to dance in his eyes at this moment. He scoffed. He deserves to die then. After saying this, he descended. The subordinate followed suit. He had spoken the truth. Even if it were not, the dead could tell no tales. The group of witchcraft cultivators pursued Ji Liang wildly. Perhaps, it had made too many trips between Heaven's Moat and the quagmire, and also due to the precarious altitude, Ji Liang's speed was slightly slower than usual. Kill it. It won't last. Many witchcraft cultivators noticed Ji Liang's decreased speed. They poured more of their power into their spells. Their streamlined formation instantly sped up. Nay. Ji Liang continued galloping. It crossed the mountains, the rivers, and the forests. Take it down. Understood. The witchcraft cultivators channeled their witchcraft power forward. The purple gas converged before their formation. Then, a purple bow and arrow materialized in the hands of the person in the lead. Livestock. Let's see where you can run off to now. He let his fingers go and the arrow sailed in the air. Bam. It was breathtaking to see them pitch their spells together in this manner. The arrow seemed sure to hit its target. Nay. Ji Liang raised its hooves. The arrow was almost upon it. The others were certain the arrow was about to land when. Whiz. There was a resonance in the air. Who dares to attack my horse? A figure appeared behind Ji Liang with a palm raised before himself. His fingers were shining blue as he caught the witchcraft arrow with one hand. He looked old, but his eyes were lively. The witchcraft cultivators from Lulan did not expect anyone to be capable of pulling off such a dangerous move. Their expressions changed. If they did not know better, they would have thought they were hallucinating. They were smart, so they knew how to differentiate between illusion and reality. The seemingly meek old man who caught the arrow was real. Oh, no, we've gone too far. Get ready to retreat. They suddenly realized that they had unknowingly entered Great Yan's territory, too preoccupied with the chase. Calm down. Great Yan cultivators are our enemies to begin with. Maintain the formation and retreat to the campground. That arrow will keep him busy. fall back. At the same time, they saw the old man who caught the arrow pushed his palm forward. Boom. The power gathered from hundreds of cultivators that manifested in the form of the purple arrow was shattered by a blue palm seal. The blue palm seal dispersed the purple witchcraft before flying toward the witchcraft cultivator. The shaman at the lead felt his hairs standing on end. He roared, "Block!"